Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It is a special evening edition of Streaming Idiots. Is this thing on? That's right, Rich. Tap, tap, tap. Bap, bap, bap. Yeah, let's see. Welcome to those of you that are watching on Facebook. Glad to have you with us. And those of you that are watching on YouTube and on our webpage. This thing is working. It's working. It's alive. Oh my goodness. Yeah, boy, just, it is a day. It is a day. Didn't think we were going to have a show today. And then all of a sudden I realized, you know what? Just because things have exploded in the afternoon doesn't mean we can't have an evening show. So we're having an evening show, and it's just me and Rich. Tim was here earlier, but he didn't hang around. And then looks like there's some folks watching on Facebook. That's good. Glad to have you. Drop a comment in the Facebook comment section. But if you want to get in on this comment, you've got to come over to streamingidiots.com and go to the Watch Live tab. So, yeah. This is the show that was supposed to be last week. Golly gee. What happened? Oh, it was an idiot thing. Hello, Kevin Michael Reed. Glad to have you. Last week, oh gosh, I should have known better. My excuse was the internet didn't work. Well, it didn't, but I broke it. I was trying to, what was I trying to do? I was trying to plug in a PoE camera, and I saw that the cable was already plugged into the camera, and I looked down next to the PoE switch, and there was a cable, same color. So why not? I'll plug it in. I did, and that's when the internet went down, because I had essentially taken a cable that was already plugged into the switch and plugged it back into the switch again. So yeah, and that's what knocked out the internet. I mean, it didn't really knock it out. It just sort of disabled that port. And I found it an hour later. So, there's no accounting for idiocy. But that was me. It was total idiocy. But, the good news, it's kind of a good news, bad news kind of thing. You're an idiot, and then you're a genius for fixing your own problems. So that's what I'm claiming, is that I am a genius for fixing my own problems. So how are we doing on Showtime? Yeah. So this is a show we were going to do last week about using the vMix shortcut called dynamic inputs. I don't want to get too much into it because, of course, that's the show part. How many of you caught the vMix Fun Time live show last night? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. Did you see it last night? Yeah, it was kind of interesting. And they might even be watching tonight, because it's like not the middle of the night in Australia. It's probably 10 in the morning, something like that, or coming up on that, depending on, daylight savings time and all that other stuff. So be glad to have it. Hello, Peter F. That's why I give little numbers to cable. Yeah. That's why I use different color cables. Except this time, the colors were the same. Just, it's one of those things. But it's a good example of why people like Peter put numbers on their cables. And I probably would. I mean, I've got a yellow, I've got a green, I've got a light blue, I've got a purple, I've got a dark blue, I've got a royal blue, and then I have another dark blue. And I have a black. So, yeah. Oh, well, now we know. Now we know that we should have known better. So that's okay, though. That's okay. Coming up on a showtime, we've got just a few minutes left. If we have time, not only are we going to dive a little bit into dynamic inputs, which really has some great uses, but we're also going to try dynamic values. Dynamic values. So we'll see. And this is the idiot's version. This is not the streaming alchemy version from John Mahoney, where he really knows what he's talking about. This is the stumble around until you get it right version. But that's okay, because once you get it right and you understand why you got it right, then you can duplicate it and do it again. That's the whole idea, is to make life easier, faster, quicker, all those things. And yeah, we need a screen capture here for our thing. So give me a second and let me pull a screen capture up. Desktop capture, local desktop capture. Can I get display one? Is that the right one? Yes, it is. Very good. Yeah. Urban Media Showcase, welcome. Can we do something like vMix call with SRT? SRT is one way. Caller, listener. You know, it's just not, it's not two-way. And SRT's intention is to use longer latency in order to ensure a higher quality transmission. So the intention of SRT kind of fights against the purpose of vMix call, which is to give you a low latency connection, two-way connection with between a guest and a host. So you can with SRT, but you're going to be probably have higher latency. Yeah. Yeah. Or depending on how you do it, you know, you may use SRT to get the video from the guest to the host, but then you may use a different method to get a host video back to the guest so that it's not delayed so much. Peter brought some little cable tags that he clips onto the cables, different colors, for blind streaming idiots. There we go. There we go. He's done SRT latency with 30 seconds. 30 seconds or 30 milliseconds? Because 30 milliseconds would be like, wow, quick, like faster than vMix call. But 30 seconds is, no, very, very slow. Very, very slow. But seconds, okay. But that's the intention of SRT, is you want to make sure that every pixel of video gets there, so you've got time for the error correction in SRT to go back and get any missing packets. So you end up with really, really great video, but it is delayed. So for example, if you had a football game and you had 3 cameras at the game, and each one of the cameras had the capacity to send its video via SRT over the internet back to your back to your studio, where you could switch cameras at that point, it wouldn't matter that it was delayed, you know, say 500 milliseconds, something like that. But it would give you super high quality video, and you wouldn't have to haul an OB truck out there to the venue in order to get all this stuff done. So there you go. LTE transmission. Got it. Yeah, that would work. That would work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would welcome all of those of you that are watching on Facebook to come on over and get in on this chat right here. That's at streamingidiots.com, the Watch Live tab. So yeah, let's see. What do we got here? Which one is that? That is, hold on. That's Facebook. Okay, gotcha. There we go. Get it, got it, good. All right. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got a minute. Minute 17, minute 16. Yeah, latency is a big deal. the amount of latency. If the latency between the video and the audio is different, then you have an audio sync problem. If you're trying to do IMAG or some sort of projected video of your live guests, you want to make sure everything is in sync and working again, and that you don't have more than I would say 30 frames a second, maybe 150 milliseconds of latency. Yep. Peter, always problems with lots of comments in Facebook and in Twitch. Yeah, vMix Social can pick up Facebook page comments, but it can't pick up Facebook group comments because of privacy concerns that Facebook just won't let vMix glean those comments. But you can get the comments in Twitch from vMix Social. Haven't done it. Nick Pendergrass, welcome, sir. What's for dinner? I'll tell you what's for dinner. We've got, we're over time, but I'll tell you anyway. My wife is amazing. She went out and found me some, they weren't wild, but they were, I guess, free-range eggs. So we had scrambled eggs for dinner. Oh, they're pretty good. Is this show rated OG? Oh, PG. PG because it's in the evening? Yeah, instead of G. Yeah. This is going to be rated, oh my gosh. That's what it's going to be rated. Peter says, not sure, but just 60% of the comments show up in vMix. Huh. Send vMix a note about that. I've heard that before. I haven't experienced it, but I've heard that before. So, well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? And we'll have a look and see at what we're going to do tonight. So, yeah. So let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We'll get rid of that, that. We don't need that now. We'll go there. Okay, this will work. This will work. All right, so let's hit the green button. All right, here we go. Hold on tight. It's not really a green button, it's a purple button. Well, good evening. Alfred Hitchcock used to open his show something like that. I'll have to go back and watch and see. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. You've arrived at the end of the internet, of course. We are the last show on the internet right before you go over the edge. But I'm delighted that you're here because I'm really excited. I'm always excited, but I'm really excited. Number one, we're doing a rare evening show. For those of you who are on the East Coast, it's about 8 o'clock. For those of you on the West Coast, you're still driving home from work. For those of you in Australia, you could be having your morning coffee break and get to hang out with us. So it's a win-win all the way around. Except for our dear friends in Europe. It is probably, let's see, 6 and 7 is 13. So it's probably 1 in the morning there. My apologies, but it was unavoidable. It was unavoidable. But this is actually last week's show. In Germany, it's 2 o'clock. Oh my gosh, Peter, I'm so sorry, but thank you for you grace us with your presence. Last week, this show was supposed to be last week, so we had an internet problem. I caused the internet problem. Yeah, it was not the internet's fault. I basically, I was trying to get some stuff ready before the show. Everything had worked. in the testing that I'd done earlier in the day. And then I said, you know, I want to hook up this one camera and it's PoE. So I'm going to go ahead and plug the Ethernet cable that's plugged in the back of that camera. I'm going to plug that into the switch. And when I did, everything went down. I didn't realize that that was the cause at that point that everything went down. But what I had done essentially is taken a cable that was already plugged into the switch and plugged the other end of it into the switch. And I used different color cables. I've got a green, a yellow, a light blue, a medium blue, a dark blue, a purple, a black, and apparently I have 2 dark blues. And I didn't realize that I had done that. And so it knocked out the internet. I mean, it knocked out the Ethernet connection on my, it knocked out my connection. It boggled the mind of the switch. Anyway, I tried for a while to, yeah, Peter says, I broke the whole internet. No, it was not me that broke the internet, and it was not me that broke John Mahoney's show on Friday. It was totally unrelated, unless he was somehow psyched into me and was doing the same thing I did, but he's way too smart for that. Anyway, it was probably an hour and a half before I figured it out and then fixed it. And of course, by then it was too late to do a show. Was going to do a show this afternoon, but something very, very important came up and I had to delay. And I thought, well, let's just do it tonight. I've got a whole show planned. Let's do a show. Let's do a show. So we're doing a show about vMix, number one, and the vMix dynamic input. Ooh, yes. And one of my favorite devices in the whole wide world, the Xkeys XK-12 Joystick. So it's got a joystick on it and it's got 12 keys. Now the keys that are on here today are keys that I put on there from my secret stash of keys. So I've got, if you can see, well, you know what? I've got a PTZ Optics camera that's set up so that if I put this keyboard in the right place, let's see if we can do it that way. And can I put this guy in there? Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, there's a little bit of glare. Let's see if we can do something with the glare there. It's a little better on the glare. So you can see there's a black row with a 1, an in and an out, and a 2, and then a green row and a red row, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just wanted to have something that we could look at so that we would know what we were talking about. So what I want to do is I've got 2 PTZ cameras here, and I want to use that joystick to control each one of those PTZ cameras and use buttons on the controller on the joystick to switch back and forth between cameras. That's my goal with this. And so my idea is that I'll use the 1 button to select camera number 1 and the 2 button to select camera number 2. And then maybe all the greens will represent presets for camera number 1 and the reds will represent presets for camera number 2. But really, more than anything else, I want to be able to press the 1 button and move the joystick and have it move the camera. So that is the plan. I tell you what, before we go any further on this, let me drop me into that picture. Can I do that? So let's come over. I'll do the picture, and I'm going to drop myself into the right-hand corner. So let's see, where is that camera? Right there. And I've got to turn me upside down. Did you know that pi is the way you turn something upside down in vMix? And then I'm going to zoom it. And then let's crop it, because you don't need to see all of me, just some of me. And then we'll move it down here in the bottom right-hand corner so that I'm around. Yeah, I hate not being around. Okay. All right, so I'm happy now. And I also have a screen capture set up. Let me show you the screen capture. So here's the screen capture. And the idea with the screen capture is I want to show you the shortcuts as we're doing them. So we'll kind of go back and forth between the screen capture and this screen over here that shows the X-keys. So we'll see how that does. Peter says the iris focus and zoom are missing. Well, Peter, one step at a time. But first, what I'd like to do is, let's make sure that this doesn't do anything. Left, right, up, down, doesn't do anything. 1, doesn't move any cameras. 2, doesn't move any cameras. Okay. All right, that's good. Now let's go back. Let's go back here and make sure that this keyboard is installed. So I'm going to take the back way into shortcuts, and there we go. We'll check MIDI settings and channel mapping, and the XK-12 joystick is channel 6. And it looks like I've got 2 settings for joystick. One is 6, one is 7. We'll use 6. Okay. So we're looking for basically anything that has a 6 colon something. So we'll just scroll through my shortcuts. And do we see any 6 colon somethings? No. Okay. And it looks like I've got some, yeah, this is set up from some back channel work I did a while back. So can we go over to the joystick, MIDI? Yeah, I guess all of that's going to be MIDI. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to establish a button here for number 1 that will basically select camera number 1 as as that which we will be referring to. So let's add a shortcut. And we're going to make it a local shortcut. Oh, you know what? Before we even do this, let me make my desktop capture. I forgot to sharpen it. So the text is a little easier to read. There we go. That'll help out a little bit. Okay, so we'll come back here to view shortcuts, edit, and then we are going to add. And our shortcut is going to be, let's do a find. And we're going to want it to be the 1 button. And I'm going to press it down and hold it down. And that's going to give me a channel 6, which of course is the joystick, note 0 because it's the top left corner, and the velocity is 127, which basically what I love about this keyboard is essentially each key has 2 settings. It has a down setting and an up setting. So we're going to make this on the down setting. 127 will be our note. So we've got channel 6, note 0. Value is 127, and the function is going to be something to do with dynamics. So let's just type that in. Nam. Yeah, there we go. So we want to set dynamic input 1. Now we can have 4 dynamic inputs, and we can actually have 4 dynamic values. But right now we're just going to say set dynamic input 1, and we're going to identify dynamic input 1 from the input name or number. Well, in this case, the input number, we're going to make it number 11, is the BirdDog camera. So the title is going to be Select BirdDog. Did I get that right? No. Oh, that's all the text I've got. Well, let's just say in BirdDog then. Okay, we'll make this a local shortcut only, and so we've got that. Where is it? Right there, number 6, 60 set dynamic input. And now let's set up some shortcuts for the joystick. So let's go to add. And we're going to find, and we're going to go joystick left. So this is joystick left A, index 0, button 0, pressure 1. Pressure 1 would be full pressure. You notice how it's got alternates from 0.1 all the way up to 1. So let's go ahead and do 1. And we're going to say pressure enabled. That is, we're going to take advantage of all 10 of those different settings from 0.1 all the way up to 1.0. assuming that our camera will do that. And so the function is going to be, let's just put in PTZ, and we want it to move left. So that's a PTZ move left. The input is going to be number 11 right there. And there we go. Now, one of the things that I don't remember if we need to do this or not, but let's try it. I am going to add another. We're going to do a find, and I'm going to move the keyboard over, and then I'm going to let it come back to 0. Would that be the same? Oh, it's, yeah, joystick center A. So let's say center A is PTZ stop. PTZ move stop. There we go. All right, good. And we'll assign that to number 11 as well. And we'll make it a local. Did we make that last one a local shortcut? I don't think we did. Let's go find it. It's down here at the bottom here somewhere. Yep, there it is right there. We'll make that a local shortcut so that we can find it more easily. Okay, there we go. So if I've done this correctly, and let's see if I have, if I press the 1 button, and the BirdDog is me down here in the corner, and then I push the left, the BirdDog should move. Whoa, there it goes. And when I let go, it lets go. Now, I didn't make a right, so let's go make a right. So we're going to go to edit, and we're going to add, and we're going to find, and it's going to be joystick to the right, and we'll hold it to the right. Pressure enabled. Function is PTZ move right. Okay, and that will be assigned to number 11. Oh, we can't assign it to number 11. That won't work. Duh. We need to assign it to dynamic input. There we go. Dynamic number 1. That's what we should have done. Why didn't you guys tell me that? All right, so let's go back into our move left. And we'll assign that to dynamic number 1. So whatever dynamic number 1 is, whichever camera is assigned to the dynamic, it's going to move left. And then we want to do the same thing for the stop, because otherwise we're just doing the same thing as setting up a single joystick to handle a single camera. Okay. All right, let's try this again. So I'm going to press the 1, and I'm going to go right this time. And if I go easy with the joystick or fast, now I've got left and right control. Now, let's set that up for a different camera when we press the 2 button. So we're going to go to View Shortcuts, Edit Shortcuts, Add Shortcuts. We're going to find our number 2 button right here. And we're going to do it and hold it down. So that's going to be channel 6, note 24. And the function is, this is going to be a dynamic, set dynamic input 1. And we want it to set for a different camera. Ooh, golly. And I've forgotten the number. So we'll have to go find the number. Sorry about that. Let's see, camera tab. Whoa, look at the PTZ Optics camera. It's going crazy, but that's number 12. So let's go back and see if we can set up a dynamic input for number 12. So we're going to add, we're going to find, we're going to mash the number 2 button on the keyboard and hold it down. There we go. The function is going to be dynamic, set dynamic input 1 is going to be for input 12 now. And this is going to be for the PTZ Optics camera. And we'll make it a local shortcut. All right. So now if we've done that correctly, we should be able to Let's see, let's go back to the show tab for just a second. And we'll go back and put that one in there. So if we mash the two, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to put both cameras in this little shot. So let's do that. Let's just add that number 12 camera. And I'm not sure why it's going all crazy tonight. And we will flip it, 3.14, there we go. And we will zoom it down, and we will crop it. There we go. And crop a little off top, there we go. And then let's just drag it down in that corner. Okay, so now we've got two cameras. You can see it's still moving. It's not real pretty. Actually, it's very pretty. But, all right, so we're going to select number 2. And can we move that camera? Nope. Didn't move. Didn't move. You know, I wonder if that's a camera problem or a other problem. If I press 2, it's not moving. Let's check our shortcuts. Oh, you know, this is one of those situations where I'm not sure if it's a hardware problem or a software problem. All right, so PTZ Optics, set dynamic input 1. We'll take a look at that. It's input number 12. Input name or number, and the number is 12. Okay. And let's just make sure that we've got the right one. That's 624.127. Yep. Okay. So we've got a BirdDog set dynamic input 1, a PTZ Optics set dynamic input 1, and then we've got joystick center, which is stop, move left and move right, all 3 for dynamic input 1. Now there's another dynamic input 1. Let's just get rid of that one. That may be messing us up. Make sure we don't have any other dynamics down in here. That's the problem with using lots of stuff like this. I ought to make them all local shortcuts to whatever. Okay, so we've got the 3 dynamic input 1s. Let's try again. And let's see if we've even connected on this BirdDog. So let's go to cameras. We'll go into the BirdDog. Let's bring this in. If we go to the PTZ settings, aha, we weren't connected. So let's see if we connect. What is the IP address of that camera? Is it 130? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's not oh, there it goes. It snapped back into. All right. So we've got a camera that works now. Let's see if we go to left pan. Look at that. There it goes. We'll just make it pan slowly. All right, so we've got left and right pan with camera number 1 and camera number 2. Let's do a home button. So we're going to go to View Shortcuts, Edit, Add, Find, and oh golly, I don't have a button for that. Well, we'll just make the red button number 4. You can see that one right there, number 4. We're going to make that our home button. We probably won't get to all these others. All right, so the function is going to be PTZ home. There we go. And it's going to be dynamic 1. And you notice when I did that, this is how it was natively in vMix. It gives you, your quote-unquote first choice is preview, but really it's not. So if you scroll up, you've got active, hover, dynamic 1 through 4 up there. We're going to say dynamic 1 and local shortcut. So now when I say, okay, I want number 2 to go home, it's going to move that to the home position, which is the position where the camera starts out when it first turns on. Okay, so let's do some zoom buttons. That'll be kind of fun. So again, we're going to do view shortcuts, edit, add, find, and we'll let the in button be the zoom in button. So we're going to use channel 6, node 8, velocity 127. And the function is going to be PTZ zoom in. All right, and that's going to be dynamic 1. And a value, well, let's just give it a value of 1. That's going to be the fastest zoom. We may have to come back and change that. Oh, that should have been a local one. So let's make it a local shortcut. There we go. And then we'll add another one for zoom out. Find is going to be the out button. And the function is PTZ zoom out. We probably need a zoom stop of some kind. And we'll make this a value 1. So let's see if it works. Whoops, we forgot to do the local shortcut. That'll help me erase it later. Okay, so I've got 2, and I'm going to say, all right, we want camera 2, which is our PTZ Optics camera, and we want it to zoom in. Boom, there it goes. And it zoomed all the way in on my fake backdrop. So let's make it zoom out. What I'd like to make it do is make it zoom in while I'm pressing the button. And when I let go of the button, it stops zooming. So let's take a look at that shortcut. So we'll go to edit. And let's see if we've got a zoom in, zoom out. Let's add a find. And so we're going to press the in button and then let go so that it has a velocity of 0. And we'll select that value. Function is going to be PTZ zoom stop dynamic 1. So let's see if that, oops, and local shortcut. There we go. All right, so let's select 2. We'll zoom in. There we go. Out. Oh, no, now we have to do the out button the same way. All right. Edit. Add. Find. Out, down, up. Value 0. Function is PTZ zoom stop for dynamic 1. Local shortcut. There we go. All right, so we're going to zoom in, stop, out, stop. There we go. All right, so that'll work with camera number 1 too. Let's try that. So we're going to zoom in, stop, out, stop. There we go. All right. All right. So what if we could dynamically change the zoom speed? Can we do that? Let's see, dynamically change the zoom speed. How would we do that? We would have to have some buttons set up for the speed. Now we're talking value here now, not inputs. So this is going to be slightly different. Well, let's give it a go, shall we? We've got a couple minutes left. All right, so we're going to go to View Shortcuts, Edit, add, and we're going to find, let's just use the red button for half speed. So we'll go down. Boy, I wish there was a way we could use the velocity, but we really only have 2 velocities here. It's not like a joystick or a T-bar. So let's do it on the way down. The function is going to be dynamic, and we're going to set a dynamic value this time. All right, set dynamic value to use when specifying dynamic 1 as a shortcut value. Okay, and so the value is going to be 0.5. So that's going to be half speed. So it doesn't care what the 0.5 represents. It just needs to know when the time comes, I'm going to tell it 0.5. So we're going to have that as a local shortcut as 0.5. And that was channel 6, note 2. Let's see, fine, that was a green one. Channel 6, note 1, yeah, it was the red one, okay. So the red one is the one we want. We'll save that one, and then we'll do another one that has a different speed, and we'll say it'll be this red one here. So the function is going to be dynamic, set dynamic value, and let's set that one. We'll make that one really slow, so we'll make it 0.1. Okay. Now we need a shortcut that will accept that dynamic value. Probably a zoom. Let's try it with a separate shortcut here. So let's add, find. We'll make, since the green 2 is right under the N, we'll make that one our temporary N right here. So the function is going to be, it's going to be a PTZ function. It's going to be a zoom in function. And it's going to have, oh golly, this is where we get in trouble. Dynamic 1, value. I'm lost now. I've lost myself. So we've already set up a dynamic value. Let's go back to that one. Set dynamic value is for 0.5. And set dynamic value is for 0.1. All right. So we need to identify we'll add one, find, we'll do the green 2. And the function is going to be, it can't be dynamic because we've already got that. And it's not a script and it's not an input. We've already done that. It's got to be a PTZ function. It's got to be a zoom in. Oh, I know, I think. Zoom in. Input is going to be dynamic 1, and would the value be see, I've confused myself. I should have quit while I was ahead. I don't think that's going to do it. Let's just leave that blank, see what happens. Okay, so we're going to select camera 1, and we'll select that value and that zoom. Okay, it did it. Not sure why or how. Let's try it with the other camera. Camera 2, we will go with a different zoom, and we'll let her go. Let's try again. We'll do camera 1, zoom speed 2, and we'll zoom in. Stop. Camera 1, zoom speed 1, and we'll zoom in. That looks like the same speed. That's not good. Well, we can see that we have we've royally screwed that up, but I think there's something there. We'll have to work on that one some more. That's the problem with working all this stuff live, is that, you know, if it doesn't work the way my little pea brain thinks it should, it's like, all right, I'm lost. I need to go back without the pressure of a live stream to cause me to have my mind go blank. But I appreciate Peter and Terry and those of you that chimed in with possible solutions there. I'm going to work on this some more. I'll have it probably as a sidebar to a future show. But if you, let's see, let's go back here. There we go. If you are interested in a PTZ, excuse me, in a PTZ controller, an inexpensive, the Xkeys XK-12, they're on our website at easternshortbroadcasting.com. And you know what? I don't even know how much they are, but I think they're pretty reasonable. Holy cow. Nevertheless, it's a 12-button controller with a joystick, and if I press 1 and then move the joystick, oh my gosh, there it goes. There it goes. And it'll even do a zoom in. Oh my, look at that. Look at that. That is so cool. Okay, great. So if you're a church and you're looking for an inexpensive controller, yeah, talk to me about this one. That's great. And they also make a bigger version of this that has more shortcut buttons on it. So you can do a lot more with it. So there we go. So there we are. Thanks for watching. Stick around for the post show. We'll be right there in just a second. And maybe we'll get all this stuff figured out in post show. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. So what did we do wrong? We got the movement down, but we couldn't get the zoom speed. I wanted to have the zoom speed as a dynamic value so that we could change that dynamic value and then, have shortcuts that would change the value and then apply that value to different cameras. So let's read some of the comments here and see what I might have missed. All right, let's see. Terry says, Tom, you could use the reds for presets on a given camera in preview window and the greens to do the same thing in the broadcast window. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a piece of cake for sure. And then Terry is asking, Peter, can you choose different preset placements on the PTZ Optics and vMix? Absolutely. Yep. So let's see if we can figure out what we're doing wrong on our dynamics. I think what we want is we want a dynamic value. Do we have to assign that to a particular camera? Maybe I'm trying to do a dynamic value to a dynamic input and I'm overcomplicating it. So let's just try, let's see, where's our desktop capture? Here we go. We're in post-show now, so we can talk, just you and me. All right, nope, don't want that one. Want that one, and there. And let's go ahead and delete these two. Oh, we've got some dynamic values. Oh, well, let's get rid of those. Remove. So dynamic value, remove. Yeah. So maybe that was giving us set dynamic input. Input. Let's just get rid of those. In fact, let's get rid of all of that stuff. Remove. Yep. So we've got this dynamic input 1 is BirdDog. Dynamic input 1 is PTZ Optics. We've got 2 set dynamic values. One of those is the value of 0.5. And let's make that 0.9 just so it's really, really fast. And then the other one is a value of 0.1, which should be really, really slow. So let's just try a little differently. So let's say that we're going to, and where's my camera? Let's put this guy back up there. So I'm going to choose the PTZ Optics camera. And I am going to choose a value. And now I've got to have a button that allows me to zoom based on that value, right? So we're going to see edit. So I need a zoom in. So I've got to zoom in, and the input is a dynamic input, but I want to zoom in. Well, let's see. Let's just look at that one. We've got a value of 1. What if the value was dynamic 1? Let's just try it. Dynamic 1. Will that work? So we'll select 2. We'll select the speed, and we'll select the zoom. Oh, no, I think it did. Yeah. It just did a zoom at that speed. All right, so let's go out. So let's select 2 at that speed. Nope, those buttons don't apply. So it's got to be that button which didn't do anything and that one which does. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go out. So if I select camera 1 and then this one, that's going to zoom in at that speed. But I've already got a button. Oh, I just want to change the speed of that button. Huh. I'm going to have to do some homework on that. Yep. Peter, the problem comes when you don't know what you're talking about. Not a programmer. And yeah. But this is cool, and I think there's some real potential there. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. If you have questions and you think I can help, there's a contact form at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Be happy to do that. And of course, We design and build PCs for streaming, and would be happy. Oh, come on, let's get this shot. Oh, we don't have a pan button. We've just got a zoom button. Well, that's okay. We've got a left and right button. Whoops. We need to make that, tune that down just a hair. There we go. A little jumpy, but it should work. So thank you guys, Byron and others, for tuning in. I appreciate that. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. We might have a solution next week. We might just have a solution. And I appreciate you guys. A big shout out to the folks at the Madera Raceway in California. We will be shipping a monster PC to you tomorrow. I know it's been a long wait. With a PTZ, excuse me, an Xkeys XK-12 T-bar and an Xkeys XK-68 replay controller and all sorts of other toys that are going to be lots of fun. They're going to have great 8-camera instant replay with the racing out there, and they'll be the talk of the town. So it'll be good. So anyway, sorry, had to brag on that for just a second. That's been a fun project. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you guys next week. So, sayonara.